So I have a brother who's 2 years older than me, and when we were younger, we used to fight a lot, and my parents would discipline us separate from each other. So as I was growing up, I used to think, gosh, that's so unfair. They're treating my brother better than they're treating me. And as I've gotten older, I've been able to see more clearly that my parents were disciplining us with the same goal, but they were disciplining us differently because we have unique personalities that receive different types of discipline. And this truth applies to the work of evangelism. So as Christians, we affirm that the message of Jesus Christ is the only way to salvation is absolutely true and unchanging. But we also affirm that methods can be fluid and changing. So over time, there's been much said about different methods of evangelism. There's the confrontational approach in which the individual is very urgent and forthright in sharing the gospel, or the relational type in which someone wants to be hospitable and warm and build a relationship prior to sharing the gospel. Or maybe there's the service style of sharing the gospel in which someone sees a felt need and enters in empathetically, meets that need, and then proclaims the gospel. And all of those are good and right and appropriate because the undergirding truth about them is that they're all trying to reflect Christ to a lost and dying world. And so for us, what we must do is not lock ourselves into one specific method of evangelism, but instead we must be genuinely interested in our neighbors, our workmates, our classmates, our roommates, our friends, get to know them, get to know their stories, their personalities, and then adapt our methods to that specific individual. So maybe an example is your new next door neighbor is an engineer for NASA. You know, he's probably a pretty smart dude, much smarter than me, in fact. And so you must approach your evangelizing of him with an intellectual approach. Or maybe you know that your cubicle mate comes from a Middle Eastern country that's really high on hospitality. What you can do is invite her into your family, around your table, with your kids. Be warm and welcoming, because it's through that she's going to be open and trusting to receive the gospel that you're going to proclaim to her. So again, let me affirm that the message of salvation is never changing, but our methods are always changing based upon unique individuals.